advice to my younger self would be, and I do know specifically this because I have started recently to read my teenage diaries, and it's horrific. Looking at how much...
I don't know how to feel about that.
I know how much I was craving and seeking validation from other people.
Yeah.
And to the detriment of my mental health at the time, and just would advise myself to really just not.
I would actually agree with that as well. You're just going to hurt yourself, either mentally or physically, by doing that, because you're going to push yourself to a point where you break.
Hey, I'm Katie J, and welcome to Young Scot's podcast, This Is How I Feel. This podcast is all about having open and honest conversations focused on emotional well-being. And today, we're turning up the lights, the music, the makeup brushes, because we're joined by two incredible artists from Scotland's drag king scene, the powerhouse duo behind Dorian and Freddie. We'll explore how performance and identity intersect with mental health, and how drag can become an act of self-care and activism, and what it means to build a creative community from the ground up. So, let's get into it. Are we excited?
Very.
I'm excited to have you both. This is going to be a good one. I can feel it. No pressure. But I can feel it. Can you feel it?
Just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We're going to have some fun today, but also, get into, that's quite a big spiel I just read out there, but there's a lot going on. So we want to get into all of it. And we're going to do so after an icebreaker that I believe you have prepared, which is a very interesting gear shift for me here, because usually I'm the one with the cue cards and the telling people what to do.
Well, I kind of have prepared it because we were trying to come up with a drag name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as you probably know, lots of drag names are laden with tongue-in-cheek innuendo, and which we're trying to be something a bit more creative today.
Yeah.
And I would love
T's and C's.
Yes. So I would like to give you a couple of prompts, perhaps, and we'll go from there. But drag names can also stem from things that you inherently already love, or things that you do or are great at, and you can kind of pick and choose elements of idols you've got, or things you're passionate about, and do a little twist. It doesn't have to be a name exact. So,
okay.
Yeah, there are lots of things. So, but maybe I could ask you, for example, who your favorite pop star is.
I think I'm going to have to go for the obvious. If anyone's listened to any of these episodes before, they will know Taylor Allison Swift, please.
Full named and everything.
Of course.
Do you have a favourite actor, TV show, or anything like that?
You're a Whovian.
Yes.
So am I. I'm going to go David Tennant.
Right. So you got
Good choice.
And you know
Good
what?
choice.
Scottish as well. Why not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so how are we looking? We've got Taylor, we've got David.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Is there a character within Doctor Who that kind of speaks to your sort of stage persona?
If you say a Slitheen,
some days Fair. I feel this way. What's really messed up potentially is the first person I thought of when you said that was Cassandra, moisturize me,
yes.
lady. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at right now. I don't know. Maybe, or we could go K9.
Ooh.
Cute.
Oh,
So
cute, very cute.
Okay.
I like those little blobs of fat, the adipose.
Yes.
Those little things.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of monsters that are not too scary. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go full Dalek.
No.
No
one wants to go full Dalek.
Go any of these places, but yeah, here I am talking about the adipose. What about K9? K9's cute.
Yes.
Robot
King
dog.
King 9.
Yeah.
King 9.
And then you could always put a little T in there for Taylor, or for Tennant, so that you could go King T9.
King T.
Just adding in those things
I like
adding it in so that it's a bit of you.
King.
Nothing wrong with that, having King in your
King
name.
9. And I'm King 9, King 1989. No.
That could totally be
Yeah, that
it.
could work.
Mm-hmm.
Workshop. Oh, just tell me what I am.
King 9.
King 9.
I
Oh.
do whatever the magic needs to be
Knighted.
done.
Wow.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Wow. Guys, that was like a spiritual awakening I just had at the beginning of the podcast. Thank you so much. King 9. I like it.
Love it.
I like it. 9's a good number for me as well in my life, so I'll take it.
Good.
Do you feel that the ice is suitably broken?
Yes.
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 Although I am a bit hot, so I'm not sure.
Burning up, okay.
The ice has been melted at that point.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah. Let's not get on to global warming. But thank you so much. I'm actually really chuffed with that. That works really well. So is that the kind of process that you've been through yourselves, thinking about these things? Is that what you meet people and that's how you kind of coach them through?
So I came up with Dorian T. Fisk because it was a kind of suggested that I was very much at the time emulating a kind of personality of Dory the fish in Finding Nemo.
Excellent.
Like very easily distracted and, all sorts of things like that. So it was a kind of a play on that initially. And Fisk is an old family name.
So you went back through your own personal archive almost. Amazing.
Yeah, so it kind of was a play on Dory the fish, and obviously fish and Fisk. There's some etymology, whichever one is not the insects one and the words one. That, it's connection as well. So yeah, Dorian T. Fisk was kind of that, given to me by somebody who, suggested that would be a suitable one.
Yeah.
And it suits you very well.
That's amazing. It's just fascinating because, in radio, I don't go by Katie Johnston, which is Catherine Johnston, I guess. It's Katie J, but that was literally as simple as, it's not the same, but I've had to pick a name, pick a name. It's not something that everyone has to do in their life. And I just kind of went, well, it was that on the school register. That was as simple as that. And now I'm K9. I feel different about
King 9.
King 9. Of course, I'm King 9. Now I'm King 9. There's more purposeful choices, is what I'm trying to say.
Whereas with mine, it was my most favourite musical icon is Freddie Mercury.
Of course.
So it had to be Freddie, and it had to be Freddie with an IE. And then I was watching, I don't know if either of you've seen Pose.
Yeah.
And there's a family in that just they call themselves Furiosity, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So, and I just find it brilliant the fact that they thought just adding on osity onto the end of a word just added this element of
yeah.
So then I kind of added it onto mine, and it just flowed from that point on to the point of I've given my mum a drag name of Animosity. Because it fits her so well as well.
Okay,
I don't know if she knows that that's her name, but that's the name I've gave her.
Sorry, Anne, that's what you're in all the group chats and everything, your nickname on everything. What a way to find out on the Young Scot podcast.
I mean, why not?
I love it, and they do. The names are perfect. They work so well. A little bit of a peek behind the curtain for people about how people got there. How this comes to be. When we start this podcast, with every guest that we have on, we ask very earnestly, because we've got a tendency, don't we, to kind of shrug off the question of how are you feeling, but if you can provide us as transparent an answer as is fitting today. How are you guys feeling today?
Go for it. You take that.
Give me a minute.
I am a mixture of things. Everything in the world is very, very scary.
Yeah.
For people who are trans, who are non-binary, who are disabled, everything is so scary at the moment.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of my time thinking about that. So I feel very tired and very laden down by that, because I am non-binary, trans, mask. I am disabled. I've got MS. It's been something that's really... It's in the news every day, to the point of I've stopped watching the news, because every time I've had it on in the background, it's just brought me down. It's really affected my mental health, and it's just been horrible at the moment. But doing drag and things like that really allows you to feel like you can do something. So a lot of my acts go along the lines of either just trying to bring joy or trying to be quite fighting and showing emotion and showing it's okay to not be okay. Because I think that's the thing.
That was one of your first acts on Showcase stage, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was my and that was when I wasn't disabled. I just had my mental health conditions. So it's now changed along the lines where I get to a point where I actually break this apart and throw it and fall onto the ground and things like that. And it's amazing how just being able to say it's okay to not be okay is so strong, and you feel like you shouldn't have to say it, but yeah.
I know it's to sit with that heaviness on a daily basis, but to have found a way to chip against it and counter it and actually bring light when things are scary.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite incredible, but also takes a lot of personal resilience to get to that space where you feel able to make light, make art, try and break that up a little bit, because it is a dense thing that you're describing, what's going on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's yeah.
It's like someone's, like you've already got the bricks on your shoulder, but it's like someone's standing on the bricks, and someone's trying to push them down.
Yeah.
And as I said, having that every day, all the time. Like, again, I avoid Twitter, I avoid all of these things because of all that. And it's all about trying to take care of yourself as well. Sorry, I feel like I've been just chatting away.
Please, no. But that troubles me also in a way, because I feel on a certain level I feel the same thing, and sometimes I see the news on and I go, get that off, and it's awful because I don't want to lack awareness. I don't want to not be across things that are happening. I want to have that understanding, that to know that I'm keeping up, right?
Yeah.
But also when there's so much that is there that is awful, you know, and you don't want to put yourself through that per se, but also you have to keep on top of things. Hard. It shouldn't be on you to not watch things or to not engage with things.
Yeah.
It should be, the world should be better than that. You know, in that you should be able to see it all and have it not be so suffocating. But where we're at right now is a really challenging place. Does that stuff, I mean, obviously.
On that, a wise woman / my therapist said to me similarly, just take off those notifications and mute the social media for a while you replenish you, because, you know, in order to actually do something that is impactful or meaningful, give to an element of, you know, society or whatever you choose to kind of try and benefit or support, you've got to be in a place where you can give that. And sometimes it just becomes too much. So it's fine to kind of switch off from ingesting all that for a time until you are ready to.
I suppose the argument then is, when you do that work and you come to it with a fuller cup, it might not be quite so, you know, you might be able to be better equipped to understand and take that on, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But do you want me to answer the question
how are you
about
feeling?
How am I feeling? So I feel at this point I'm in the middle of a very transitionary period. So it's actually something that I'm quite comfortable with. So I'm feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation about the next step that I'm going to be taking. So when this podcast goes out, I will be in the midst of this next project that I'm embarking on, in the middle of an ocean. So I probably won't be able to listen to it. But yeah, so, you know, and also I'm feeling creatively burnt out. Yeah. And it's been something that so this today is only second time I've gotten into drag this entire year.
Right.
So at the end of last year was coming to the end of probably a 2-year period of consistently working on the drag king scene and delivering on projects that were relating to things that I'm lucky enough to get funded to put out there to kind of like support the drag king scene. And very little was done in terms of, you know, thinking about how I might want to look at my drag or my artistry. And I think I ended up reaching a point where I just couldn't do any more for anybody and just kind of pulled the foot off the gas for a bit. And it's kind of been a long time that, you know, I've sort of not focused on drag for a while and focused on other things. I graduated with a degree program after a 30-year gap year, and sort of embarked on a sort of career path that is somewhat creative, but nothing to do with drag. And this year was kind of focusing on that. And so it's kind of interesting. I won't think until next summer, or possibly even maybe next spring if we're lucky, that I'll do anything else relating to drag. But I feel like at this point, this is necessary for me to kind of recharge and find that love of doing drag for me again.
Resetting those boundaries.
Yeah. And, you know, it's nice to be in makeup and be in costume. This is one of the favourite characters that I have in my repertoire. And he's brought a bit of sparkle back.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes me very happy to hear.
That's
a little. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing on a boat in the middle of the ocean?
for a cruise line.
Oh.
And I can probably say it's Disney Cruise Lines.
I knew it was going to be Disney Cruise
and
Lines.
they have a new ship that is doing its maiden voyage around the Bahamas, which I'm sure will get old. But
It sounds awful.
I'm responsible for the shows on board in terms of all the props, puppets and scenery. So there's going to be a couple of musicals. And I'm quite excited because the ship itself has a theme throughout of Disney villains and heroes, which there's a Cruella de Vil bar
good.
I'm going to be having my cocktails in when I'm not working, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, fair.
That's absolutely glorious. And that's just joy on a plate. What a wonderful thing to
Yeah, so 4 months of that.
Oh, wow.
And then I'll come back renewed, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it is work. I'm conscious that that's work,
Yeah.
and it's very easy for me to go focus on the fact that it's a cruise and it's lovely.
Yeah, I'm
and
not on
it's-
holiday.
But exactly. But what a fantastic creative environment as well for you. It's brilliant.
I know. I'm
Amazing.
really doing it for that, to kind of get my hands on these really high caliber things that have been made for these productions that we know for sure are
Absolutely.
going to be next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
So jealous.
Please document this because I'm so excited to learn more about it. Let's go back a little bit, guys, and talk about the drag personas. Obviously, we spoke about the names, how the journey, how you got into it. But what was that first moment like when you were introduced to the concept of drag as a drag king, as a performer, and thought, this is something that fits me, that I can do, and I can bring something to?
Yeah, my inspiration was when I was living in Shanghai. I came out as a queer person later in life, and I kind of ventured forth into the Shanghai queer scene and was at an event at a lesbian bar, and it was hosted by an American in Shanghai at the time, and they had a drag king persona, and they were hosting as a drag king, and it was the first king I'd seen. And then not long after that, they put a call out in the chat groups looking for someone to help backstage for a talent contest for Shanghai Pride that year. And I'd come from that sort of background in terms of my work, and said, I'll help out. And I went along to the auditions just to take notes on the types of things, performers, what they're going to need. And thought, everyone's going to be so fabulous. I need to, not just be in all black. Let's take inspiration from NSFW, now retired drag king, but they that's what they were called at the time. And I thought, no, I'll pick sort of a mood board. I literally did create a mood board and had on there sort of long-haired rockers, lead singers from bands I liked growing up in the 80s. And I'm not sure if I can admit Johnny Depp had a little bit in there as well. But, drew from the aesthetics, created this backstage roadie type character with a tool belt and band T-shirt, jeans.
This was you, collating all this to sit and take notes?
To use as inspiration, like a mood board.
Yes, but you weren't even expecting to be in the...
No, I was just supposedly
this.
helping backstage,
Yeah.
but I created this backstage character,
I just love this.
Dorian was born, and he had a tool belt, of course, and he really just existed behind the stage curtains. I subsequently was asked to come back and stage manage more shows at this venue that's still going today, and eventually they were doing a show that's a bit like a scratch night, if you know what those are. The sort of low pressure, performers trying new stuff, or new performers finding a supportive audience and stage to try their act or debut. And I put an act together, again based on a lead singer. It was an ode to Alice Cooper.
Fantastic.
And I kind of debuted about 6 months after, purely just being this backstage character in drag, and only emerging to put out mic stands or pick up feather boas and that sort of thing, until I put an act together that drew from my, at the time I was learning Thai boxing and had a bit of...
The amount of lives that you've led. Wow, amazing.
And so I drew from the fact that I was quite strong in body, but not very flexible, and learned a few pole tricks to kind of perform in this act. And that was my gimmick for a while.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so sort of find what you're good at, and sort of went from there, really.
The fact that being a sort of quiet observer of it all and helping put it all together, make it happen, became the strength and the asset that you used to kind of harness the character. It's just a good lesson for everybody anyway. Just actually being, even if you feel like you're on the fringes, like learning and watching and observing and growing into the character that you become.
Yeah. So I started doing
fabulous.
lots of very masculine characters for the first while, and then it's kind of evolved to be a little bit more magical and otherworldly, and some not even human type characters as well that have graced the stages in the later years of me doing drag.
A lot of fun in that.
Yeah, it's a lot of creative freedom.
And what about you?
So I kind of started like going to like drag bingos and things like that.
Love.
And
Great time.
like the community in Dundee, there was so many people of all different walks of life, different types of drag and things like that. So I started to kind of look online, and then I came across Dorian, and I came across Papa Joint and things like that. And it like people that didn't just do glam female drag, and I thought that fits me. And at the time I had broke my humerus, so I was not working, so it really helped with my mental health, because then I was able to do something. So I started doing that. I couldn't use one of my arms, but I was like doing my makeup,
making it
like,
work.
it's fine. Then I would go to the drag bingo, and I would try and like immerse myself with other people. And then there was one day where, because they would always do a lip sync, where you could like win a drink or something like that.
Yeah.
And I just went, I'm gonna do it. Got up, jumped on, and by this point, like, I did not have any real experience performing. Like, I'd done like musical theatre when I was like in high school and that kind of thing, but I just jumped up, and then from that point on I just didn't look back, because I was just like, this is my person, this is me. And that's just allowed me to kind of discover me in more of a way as well.
And was it Queen that you jumped up for?
No, it was actually Lady Gaga.
Fantastic. That'll do.
It was Lady Gaga.
Excellent choice.
And I had that thing of, I had a hat, I threw the hat, and then realised that's a very expensive hat.
Oh.
And was like, oh no. And then I had a thing of, got excited, ripped my shirt, and then
you went full performance.
I went full
mode.
And then went, I don't have another top, and they asked for another lip sync to do like a
head to head.
So it was like I had already won one, and then they were like, and you're going to come up and do another, and I went,
I got no clothes.
So I sent
I'm done.
I sent my partner home. We live like 5 minutes from the place, and I went, go home, get me another top. And then he came running back and was like, here you go.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fine. I just needed something to cover myself up. Because at this point, I had then had a shirt that I had kind of turned into a, like, Britney Spears shirt kind of tied.
Oh, I know. Cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got the vision. The oops, I did it again.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
It didn't suit me. So then I was like, well, it's okay. And then we did the other one, and then I won that one.
Wow.
And at that point, I think Shut Up and King were doing the 4 weeks course. So then I was like, just going to apply to that. And at that point, I didn't actually know if it was like yous looked at us or anything like that. So I was like, I'm going to apply to it. I'm not going to get in. Like, it's going to be one of those things of you're just still a wee bit too early, and then next minute got that email being like, come along.
Wow. I mean, that's quite rapid fire as well, just in the moment. But I suppose what comes from being in a space where you feel emboldened to make these moves, that's the power of the whole thing, isn't it? It's about being in a community space where you were looking for purpose during a time where you weren't able to work and do X, Y, and Z, but you had this place to go to that made you feel seen and understood, and then wow, what you can create as a result of that. Is that the entire mission for Shut Up and King?
Well, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot to do with like how much representation matters.
Yeah,
because if you're not seeing representations of yourself on stage, you know that you're not going to be motivated to even know that it's possible to do it. So yes, it's partly that for sure. There was the motivation to create more opportunities for drag kings. Particularly, we were looking at ways where we could bring in people who were more often overlooked across the board. So, we started with a course that people could obviously purchase tickets and their place was guaranteed. But from that get-go, we also wanted to make sure that we were encouraging and offering subsidised, fully sponsored placements for people of colour and people with disabilities as well to kind of come on through. So one of the people that Freddie just mentioned, Papa Joint, has been there. Well, I think at time of recording, they are coming back to drag. Maybe not officially, but anyway. They've retired officially, but unofficially might be coming back with an exciting new project. But they have been on board with me from almost the very, very beginning with Shut Up and King, helping ensure that we're within our means, and obviously with support from Creative Scotland when we had funding, we could do a lot more for access, but within our means from day one that we've done what we can to be as accessible and inclusive as possible. And see, the mission is still to, connect, grow and diversify the drag king scene. It's been a valiant effort, I think. Yeah. We've definitely, I think our Scottish drag king scene across the UK has one of the most diverse and inclusive, actively performing
and I think
scenes.
That's rubbed off on just the drag scene in general, because they've looked at the drag kings that are popping up, like myself, Hamish Macbeth, people who are disabled, who are not normally kind of put on a pedestal, and then they're going, wait, you can do that? You can move like that, or you can do that kind of act. And then you've got like your creative ones like Gender, where they are coming out with so many outfits. And again, people look at them and go, how did you make that? And you see that really progressing into the drag scene in general, because you can see them go, I kind of fancy that. Or again, like you see someone with a stick and they're like, I was embarrassed to use my stick. And I've hurt myself several times in drag because I've been embarrassed to use my stick.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I think like the progression from what you started to how it's moving into the drag scene in general has really, you can see the timeline.
Yeah, there's been some great ripples of positive effect. And as I say, like since last year, I've kind of put my foot off the gas a bit, and just the scene, particularly in Edinburgh, in terms of just the drag king scene, because there's a drag king show started by two kings who initially met each other through the Shut Up and King programs, but they've been putting shows on for over a year. I'm going to be pulled up on this, but it's over a year. Maybe
I think it's been two.
Yeah. But consistently and regularly, so that there are kings coming up now in the Edinburgh scene who probably have no idea what Shut Up and King was, and purely because they can see drag kings and representation on the stages, they're coming up and starting their own things, with or without help from anything I've been doing, or the people that have been involved with our projects have been doing.
Because they're actually doing the first drag king competition.
Yeah, they're about to run.
This must make you feel very proud, though. I mean, the fact that people can meet through the work that you've put together and the work that you've your organisation, and then have gone on to establish a scene for themselves and introduce
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me. I'm really old. Not going to be around
forever. Like going grey.
Yeah. I'm not going to use the word legacy, but, it's that kind of thing.
No, but 100%. And that representation, and there's a while to go. I mean, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but, do you ever sit and see, the impact of drag queen versus drag king and think a little bit like, oh, come on guys, we need to get in there a bit more. What's going on there? Because I feel like drag queen, when you mentioned drag brunch, I immediately thought drag queen, and I'm wrong for that. And that is wrong. How do we share the spotlight, or is it a separate issue entirely? What do we do with this? To reset people's minds and maybe to let people know, as you said yourself, that drag kings exist and they're out there doing amazing things, making gorgeous art that people have to know about. Is that a funding issue? Is that a societal thing that people just are like, hey, we're okay with this, but we don't know about this? How do we get that out there?
So, I mean, I think it's a tricky one to answer. So surely there is obviously a lot to do with the fact that there's a show on TV that is pumping out drag queen representation, so regularly that it's what a lot of people now see in terms of like their first introduction to drag. And that does filter down in quite a lot of the local shows, as far as like they're running drag contests where it's very much following that format of the TV show, or they're purely judged by queens who really don't know drag king artistry, probably haven't been to a drag king show before.
Sure.
And so it's tricky, but you can still find drag kings for yourself. You really just don't have to look that hard. There are some amazing drag shows in Scotland that are booking a wide variety of drag artists. And yeah, I think it's just a case of funding was one thing. Obviously, I was doing drag workshops in Shanghai, and for the first 2 years, Shut Up and King was managing workshops and sort of shows without any external funding. So it's possible to do it without funding. But what funding enabled us to do was really replicate what we were doing on a much broader scale. And you mentioned how that's trickled down into other parts of the drag scene.
Yeah.
We were able to put together kind of the learnings of what we've been able to understand in terms of like show production and putting on accessible shows, and put a boot camp together for budding show producers who really wanted to kind of learn as well. And we had traineeships up through our shows that we were doing as part of the funding for people who were interested in hosting, backstage managing, and show producing as well. So tried to do what we can in terms of like, not influence, but, share knowledge, and there are resources that, we can share as well.
Super tangible career paths in there as well for people who potentially are not looking to be a performer but want to be a part of the that's excellent. That's amazing.
So I think you don't have to look too hard, do you, really? No. You just have to stop watching just that one TV show.
Well, I think, but that's it. But we're so easily skewed in our understanding of things. It can be really, Well, I don't see a lot. I mean, it's the representation question again. I don't see a lot of that, so therefore it must be really fringe and really niche. Clearly it's not. Clearly there are incredible people out there doing it. And, it's just a case of looking in the right places. But the power of that representation was crucial to you coming through, Freddie, right?
And the thing is, like, I now co-host a show up in Dundee. Yeah. There's 3 of us that host it. But me and one of the other acts, we'll kind of like swap in and out. But it's called Cirque du Crochet. It's over 18, but it's kind of rock, metal, alternative.
Love.
But it's that kind of thing of, they asked me, and I think I'm the first drag king with a disability to be a host of a show in Scotland. Am I right? I might be right. I think I'm right.
Oh, take the time.
Oh, you mean like a resident? A residency?
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's that kind of thing of like, to have that, the amount of people that come along to them and go, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And then the amount of people that get into my DMs and go, so can I ask how do you do this? Or even with like my crutch, it's what kind of crutch is that? And how do you what kind of things would you recommend and things like that? Yeah. And it's been really insightful to see that kind of on both sides. To be that person to go, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then to be that person of, you can do it.
So you both had that lovely moment of being the person inspired, and then to kind of be on the other side of it and be the person that's opening that door for people and building the community, which emboldened you to be living your best version of yourself and pursuing your art, which you didn't even know was a thing before. That's really, when you sit and look at that, it's really something. And with, if you don't mind talking about your diagnosis and your MS and how that's factored into your performance, how is it, because I know it's a wonderful thing to be the first to be doing this. In equal parts frustrating that it's taken time for, it's lovely to be the first or something, but also you kind of have these moments you must have where you must go, there should be so many more of us doing this.
Exactly. But, by no means the first to be doing any of those kind of things, but understood. It's one of those things of doing it in my own way.
Sure.
I think it's easy to copy. It's easy to go, right, that person uses it in this way. Being the thing is, with diagnosis with disability, you can have days where you are fine walking and you're fine one day, and then the next day you are in bed crying because you're in so much pain. Sure. And it goes in between. So being able to learn how to do it my way, where I can kind of follow, right, I can perform on this day. Mm-hmm. I can do all of this and this energy on this day, but but on this day and this day, I need to do nothing.
So it's practically, is that how you would set up? If you knew your performance is on a Saturday night, right? And is that how you kind of, you work it out? You kind of go...
I kind of look at it as, if I'm going to be performing, I need to at least, so like if I am performing late at night, I will get a hotel.
Sure.
Or I will stay somewhere or stay with someone so that I can have that night to kind of recuperate, go home the next day.
To be in the best, give yourself the best possible chance to do the performance that you, because you're working so hard on something, you want it to be the way that you want to do it, but to be able to adapt, that's a skill in itself.
Yeah.
It's a masterful skill as well, because so much of this is like, you know, you're doing the mental arithmetic of, this makes me feel really happy and really fulfilled, and this is really good for me. My mental health is really good for me as a whole, but then your body fighting against you. And then being able to go, okay, well, if I do a little bit less of this, a little bit more of that, I'll be able to do something that I'm proud of. You know,
yeah, it's all about
such
managing.
I mean, you can't commend you highly enough, because it's a lot.
Oh, thank you.
It's incredible to think about not compromising on the artistry, because that's what you do.
Oh yeah, sometimes I will give way too much, and my partner will give me a thorough talking to. I'm pretty sure I've had a thorough talking to from you and from Papa, being like, stop.
You have to use
stop
that.
it.
Yeah, I know.
And then I'm going, but
this brings you joy. So it's fine.
It looked really good though. Like, if it looked really good, it's worth it.
You know, it's a really fine and considered balancing act. I can only imagine. Do you, when you do get those messages from people reaching out and saying, you know, hey, I kind of underestimated you there. It's incredible to see what you did with that. Maybe I can do it myself. Any advice? How do you feel when these messages come through?
Oh, it gets me so emotional.
Yeah, I bet.
I spend my whole time crying, just like, you thought I did well, thank you. But especially there's times when I'm like, oh, I did rubbish there. I did a bad one. And then someone will come over and go, that was the best I've ever seen you perform. And I'm like,
it's interesting,
really?
That, isn't it? Isn't it? Because you get so, it's quite often happens that way. When you know, that's really... I think that maybe possibly boils down to everyone being very, very hard on themselves at all times.
Definitely.
You know? And as the years have gone on and you've kind of found your personas that you like to work with and found your... Did you feel were you all consumed by the Shut Up and King kind of mentoring aspect? Did you lose your art even slightly, or was it always bubbling along nicely together? How do you keep your art going and then keep the mission going in tandem?
Yeah, that's really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, without wanting to book myself for every show I do myself, you know, which I do.
You know who's really good at this? Me.
I mean, I'm brilliant. I just want to put that out there.
These guys are all right, but actually, to be fair, it should be me. I'd struggle with, if I'm being honest, I'd struggle with that. You know, it's a hard thing to do.
It comes to a point where, you know, I'm not on stage in a show unless I've put myself there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And your headliner tonight, you guessed it.
Yeah, you know, there are some great shows that I do like to perform in, but, you know, those opportunities, you know, timing, sometimes the pay, you know, it's just, don't get on stage unless, you know, it's something that I've kind of orchestrated for myself. Mm-hmm. But obviously I'm not in every show that Shut Up and King does, you know, by design it shouldn't be, and I'm not, but, you know, it's been hard to... They are linked, and a lot of my drag has evolved throughout mentoring other drag performers and seeing the incredible, like the showcases we've put on for both iterations of the Kinkubator program have packed out a 200-seat venue with paying customers, and an incredible show of, we broke records for the number of drag kings on stages up here, and each... like a showstopper after a showstopper. These are performances that are just so worthy of people's time and energy to just go and see and support. And it's been amazing to sort of see that and get inspired by that as well myself, and sort of I don't need to really up my game here as well now.
Taking inspiration, how wonderful though, to get the inspiration from the room that you created. Like, wow. So just as a really quite brief disclaimer, explainer. It's a course that culminates in a performance.
Yeah, so there are two. So we've got at the moment, so the Kinkubator
which I'm obsessed with all the names.
I'm the pun king, and that is one of my best. The Kinkubator was a funded program that no longer exists.
Okay.
But it does, it sort of became the extension or the next step beyond our Free Your Inner King 4-week program, which does still exist. We've done 3 or 4 iterations of that, and from fully online to hybrid in person. Now it exists fully on demand online as a course that you can just sign up to and do at your leisure. And next year, hot off the press, I'm probably going to bring it back to a kind of hybrid again, using that course online, but having some in-person sessions, because it really does. I feel like some of the feedback, if I'm having done so many versions of in-person sort of courses and workshops and mentoring now, that people do value that in-person connection so much. And as much as we're like, you can sign up and do this course anytime you want, and that's fabulous, but they're missing that connection of community and that sort of in it together, developing as new performers together. Their journey is coming along in different ways together, but that connection is missing when it's just you behind the screen at your own pace. So maybe next spring, after this podcast goes out, look out for it. We're probably going to be doing a version of it in person and online.
Amazing.
And to do that thing of, so who would be really good at that?
Look, I'm all about that. The next generation teaching, and you're already doing it without being part of anything official. So I'd love to pay you to do that as well.
I'd get paid as well. That would be great.
If there's money going.
Well, King 9, there's probably a place for you on that course.
But you're right. Someone might be listening to this going, hang on a second, this is perfect for my friend, this is perfect for me, and it just takes that spark, and you are both testament to what happens when you nurture that spark and what can come from it. What do we want to see happen? Obviously the courses are coming through, fingers crossed, very soon, which is really exciting. What are the big, bold, wildest dream goals for the drag king community in Scotland?
Personally, I would love it to be less them and us, and it be a nice big happy family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in some places it is a kind of mixture. Like, again, in different kind of cities, you have your kind of cliques, and it's like it is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there are some places where you do feel everyone just enjoys the level of artistry and the level of drag that's put on a stage. So when you go to a show that is like that, your mind is blown, because you're like, I didn't just see the same thing over and turned out. And I agree, I would love it for everywhere to be like that, for everyone to kind of take bits and pieces from each other and to understand. Because myself, I've taken bits from Queens.
Sure.
And I've taken bits from Kings, and I look at it as that kind of thing of, I'm a king with that kind of flamboyancy of a queen.
Of a queen.
But when it comes to...
They should be togetherness, not othered, in some way, because that seems like a misuse of a space that's been created, if you know what I mean, in a way as well, like for the partitions to be up within a space.
It's so ironic, isn't it, when it's all about deconstructing gender, and then there's quite often some very binary, like king, queen, your group, their group. But in reality, there are performers who are doing representations of gender and drag along a kaleidoscope of different sort of nuanced presentations, and some things that are undefinable. There are ways of calling your drag that have nothing to do with king or queen, and quite often drag.
There's loads of people that do identify as a drag thing, so they will just go in between, and they'll be animalistic, or they'll be alien, or they'll just go between. One day they're a king, one day they're a queen, and that's it. And it just works so well when everyone
their
is.
Act, so they can do whatever they want with their own act.
Yeah, so in an ideal world, these shows would have a really broad representation of drag artistry, but also performers as well. There's still very much a lack of diversity in lineups there. We need more plus size bodies. We need more people of colour. We need more people with disabilities on our stages on a regular basis. So yeah, project to ideal world. We're going to be seeing shows like that as the norm.
Absolutely. And hopefully people do the research, sign up and join and get involved in what could be just an even bigger and better space going forward. Thank you for creating it and being a part of it and making it happen. Very last question. Any advice for your younger self, people listening right now? Is it as simple as sign up or is it more nuanced than that?
Do you want to go with that one? I mean, I can...
You go first.
Okay, so I think I would think advice to my younger self would be, and I do know specifically this because I have started recently to read my teenage diaries and it's horrific. Looking at how much...
I don't know how to feel about that.
I know how much I was craving and seeking validation from other people.
Yeah.
And to the detriment of my mental health at the time, and just would advise myself to really just not.
It's so wonderful you have that though. I mean, there's a lot.
There have been some light bulb moments.
Wow.
As to where things have kind of bubbled up from in those diaries. Yeah. So to basically just don't seek your validation externally.
Yeah. I needed to hear that today. Thank you.
Okay.
I would actually agree with that as well. That kind of, because again, you're looking for people and going, like me, please like me, like what I'm
doing. Me contort myself into something that you will like.
Exactly. And you're just going to hurt yourself either mentally or physically by doing that, because you're going to push yourself to a point where you break. So like I would 100% think that. I'd also think from my start of drag, I would tell myself all drag is valid from the off, because I think because I had time off when I did become disabled and had that thing of I can't do drag anymore. I can't do anything, and having myself now turn around and go, all drag is valid. Get off your butt and go and do stuff because you can do it. And having people that did do that helped so much.
Love. Thank you both so much for taking the time and for being so candid and so open. I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot out of this episode, so very
Thanks
grateful.
for having us.
Thank
King
you.
Nine.
King Nine, it's me. Honestly, no, thank you. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in for listening. Remember, if you need help or support with how you're feeling, Young Scot has tons of information at young.scot/I feel. That's young.scot/AYE feel. If you want to follow their work, and I'm sure that you absolutely do, then make sure that you are following on Instagram using @ShutUpAndKing. Any other profiles you want to shout out? This is your moment.
At Freddie Ossity on Instagram, and check me out and see what's happening there.
Also, do not forget, if you're under 26, make sure that you use your free Young Scot National Entitlement Card with thousands of discounts in Scotland and across Europe, subsidised public transport, and a whole lot more. Visit young.scot/card for more information and to get yourself signed up. Finally, Young Scot members can claim 100 reward points by listening to this episode. This is the exciting bit, I know. By typing in the special code, what do you think it is?
Kings.
Kings.
Multiple.
Oh, that was dead on. Perfect for your points code. So you put Kings in, you get 100 reward points. If you're not a member yet, visit young.scot/membership to get started today and earn points for activities and access exciting rewards. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of This Is How I Feel. And if you have, then please rate, review and subscribe for more, and you'll get instant access as soon as the next episode drops. Looking forward to next time already. See you then.